All right, we're recording again.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, dear listener. This is definitely not our second recording of today. Welcome to Buckets of Blood with Banshee and Fangs, aka EJ and Ani. So this episode, we are talking about a movie called Bay of Blood, released in 1971.
Yes, and it is 1971.
Right, okay, cool. Released in 1971, director Mario Bava. And I haven't seen this movie before. I chose it because it was referenced in a book I read last year called My Heart is a Chainsaw. Very good book by Stephen Graham Jones. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, it was this movie that was referenced. It's a very good book. I recommend it.
In what way was it referenced? Was it like the story itself, the cinematography, or like the story of it being made?
So it's a fiction book. So it was referenced. So like the main character is obsessed with horror movies, and she references Bay of Blood as being like her first like slasher.
Fascinating.
So today we're talking about Bay of Blood and Grindhouse, and like doing a brief, not retrospective, a brief history of Grindhouse, because this movie is technically a Grindhouse movie. I had to look it up at first because I was like, am I just doing like a giallo? It's also a giallo and like a proto slasher, but I had to look up if it was Grindhouse, and it is.
It is considered.
It simply is.
This will probably be defined for me in a second. But what does Grindhouse like specifically mean?
I'll get you in a second. Yes. So let me do the intro. So Grindhouse wasn't originally a term for a specific genre or type of film, but rather a term for a theater that shows low-budget horror or exploitation movies. They were called Grindhouse because of the grind policy of the studio-owned theaters. The policy was to slash the prices and significantly one day, and then gradually inflate them over time. So the theaters themselves were considered grindhouses, and as per David Church from Exhibition to Genre, the case of grindhouse films, grindhouse theaters would technically show a variety of films in continuous succession, so kind of like how theaters do now. So have low admission fees too, and 3, the films screened would frequently be of poor quality or low artistic merit.
Interesting. It kind of makes me think of, I guess this is for like reference for listeners. My dad was like my dad is like a New Yorker, like a New Yorker, raised in New York City. And a lot of the time when he talks about like seeing movies when he was younger, either in his like childhood or like early teen years, he would talk about getting like really cheap tickets and kind of just like staying throughout the day. And it was understood in that day and age to be like a cheap way that a young person could spend an afternoon when they're not in school and not really have to worry about being on the street either. Like it's some form of like easy entertainment, and of course they didn't have like the same kind of TV entertainment that we did. And you would just see whatever's on. Like you don't really have much of a choice. It's just they're just going to play things.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely. I will touch on that like a little bit in the next paragraph or two. Grindhouses were associated with lower income neighborhoods and audiences. To quote Grady Hendrix, another writer, in his write-up called This Old Grindhouse, quote, "Grindhouse theaters gradually became perceived as disreputable places that showed disreputable films." The way theaters worked changed in the 60s. If you don't know what white flight is, it's the migration of white people from cities that were becoming more diverse into moving into the suburbs. This resulted in socioeconomic racism called urban decay, which cities fall into disrepair. And because of this disrepair and the rise of television, theaters either closed or showed porn or more extreme genre films that wouldn't air on TV. And sadly, or maybe not sadly, I don't know, probably sadly, in the 80s, home video and cable killed Grindhouse completely.
Which, like, yeah, that makes sense. The popularity of being able to have, or I wouldn't say the popularity, the accessibility of television, I guess is the better way of putting it. Like, you could get it for relatively cheap as compared to, like, a television set being, like, as expensive as a kitchen appliance.
Yeah.
And that's, like, a necessity. Like, it's comparing necessity versus... God, I think of people with, like, swimming pools in their house. That's basically what a TV was.
Yeah.
This was also radio time, where if you wanted to hear a story otherwise, you have to turn on the voice box.
Any comment on Grindhouse? Or the Grindhouse?
I mean, it very much makes sense. When I think of, like, the cultural shift from the effects of white flight, I often think about how people have this idea of the people who were then moving into cities at that time, or the growth within cities being the danger. Like, it wasn't just that they were leaving and being like, that place was dangerous. It was they left the cities en masse and then went, only dangerous people will from now on be in those cities.
Mm-hmm.
And I think of it being from Philadelphia, like living around Philadelphia for most of my life. It's very interesting right now to see the very same people whose grandparents were involved in white flight going back to the cities because it is what is fashionable.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I haven't actually thought of it.
Oh no, go on.
No, I just haven't I haven't thought the people who like grew up in the well, kind of like me. I grew up in the suburbs and now I live in the city. But like the white people specifically who grew up in the suburbs and like were raised in that place are now in the city, are like moving back, and then like gentrification is taking over.
And like it feels like a lot of the gentrification, maybe this is an unspoken part. I've felt like a lot, the biggest part of the gentrification is people who are from the surrounding suburbs, not from like a distance away. They're people who were raised within 2 hours of the city's, like 2 hours transit worth of getting into the city, who end up being the gentrifiers, and they personally will not identify as being a gentrifier because they're like, no, but like I'm from here. And then you ask them, like, okay, did your parents ever live in the city? And they go, no, they got married right out of high school in the same suburb that I just came from. And it's like, oh, okay, so you're a gentrifier. So your grandparents did white flight. They'll always, I hear it so often where they're like, yeah, my grandparents were like South Philly Italians, which, like, first of all, ringing bells in my mind. Most South Philly Italians are like very racist. They are extremely racist. And that is part of that white flight movement, was that they were like, I don't want to be in a city where there are people of color. I'm going to move to the suburbs. And now their direct descendants are going, so cheap for this property. And I can update the kitchen in full gray.
Oh my god, the gray. the gray.
The gray. And then it's another thing is, like, they all go to, like, again in Philly, like, they all go to Temple, and then they graduate Temple, and then they stay in the apartments around Temple and go, they can knock down another city block for luxury apartments. It'll be better for everyone else if they knock down the whole city block for luxury apartments. And then we don't have we don't have like art houses anymore. We don't have art house theaters anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I mean, we don't have community art projects as much anymore. I think of, like, I was looking at like a post that was like, oh, updates coming to the city for the next year, and one was Center City is getting a luxury bathhouse.
No.
Yeah. And it's like, it is listed as like the exclusive private club that people can join. And I was like, so you're not only making it a bathhouse, you're clearly making it like a straight bathhouse, not like a underground, you have to hear like by whisper that this bathhouse exists. It's a luxury bathhouse in Center City, in the area in which people are paying more than they've ever paid. I use this antidote a lot, but like the place my parents lived in Philly is one of the wealthiest neighborhoods now, Rittenhouse. And when they lived in the 90s, my mom had a pretty decent 1-bedroom apartment for less than $500 a month.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And now that same apartment would easily go for over $3,000.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's anyway.
Yeah.
And now we have to fight for like artistic spots in the city, even as artists in the city. All of us need to live like on the outskirts if we want to be able to afford it.
It's kind of like the places around Hopkins right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, it's a lot. And like the increase, I'm not going to get into it, the increase of like security and like flock cameras and all that bullshit. I can't get into it. I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah, Baltimore has a similar problem that Philadelphia has, that they have like a certain industry, parentheses, like college industry, university industry, that they're willing to just accept that the college will pay for XYZ elements and the city will willingly turn a blind eye to everything else that they're doing. And it hurts the people who have lived there.
Jesus Christ.
This got bleak.
Well,
anyway.
Yeah.
Although, I will say, one of the things in Bay of Blood that did kind of catch my eye, speaking of, like financial quality in these films, as we talked about in the previous episode, sometimes B-movies would be produced at, like, a much lower budget. This one seemed to be at a higher budget, and I noticed that it seemed very specifically like the higher budget was like 95% towards the art pieces in the one guy's houses.
So, Fairy, my cat, is now showing Ani her butt.
Hi, Fairy.
Okay, let me get you off the thing. There you go.
Little darling.
Yeah, little baby. So the budget was a little bit higher than in 13 Ghosts, but you'll see that there were some constraints going on here.
Yes, yeah. There's an element of there's a number of parts where like it looks like they blew all their budget on a single like special effects shot, and they later went, guess we're just gonna have to throw like rags over something else.
Yeah.
Also, I have a question before we get into like the film itself.
Yeah.
It's listed as international, and there's clearly like references to it not being like American or directly like an English speaking country.
Mm-hmm.
Where the fuck is it?
It's in Italy. It's Italian.
Okay.
That's why I was referencing Giallo earlier. That's an Italian like slasher like film genre. Not really slasher, but it's like an Italian horror genre. But yeah, it was filmed in Italy. And I think I wrote where exactly. It was in like this coastal like town in Italy. I don't know if I wrote exactly where, but it's somewhere in there.
I was honestly gonna guess like, because I got to a point where I one of my questions at the end is about this, because I was like, hang on, there's a number of people who do have accents, but then there are people who are implied to have lived there their whole lives and they have American accents.
Yeah, I'll get to that.
Yeah.
Oh. scary.
I was just kind of like,
Sorry,
I guessed it was Spanish purely because the one guy was fishing for octopus, and I was like, they love octopus in Spain.
So Italian. I don't know. I was wondering about the octopus too because I was like, octopuses are they in bays?
I don't know. Yeah, I had a moment where I was like, I don't know if because like realistically they can octopi. I know realistically because it's connected to the ocean they could get in that way, but like, do they often do that? Are there enough that a guy can go fishing for a number of them on a regular basis?
Yeah, I'm convinced that they just had one, and then when he like threw it back in the ocean at the end of not the ocean, the bay at the end of the film, that they just like lost it.
They were like, oh, there it goes.
Yeah, no, new ecosystem. Yeah, it was the 70s. They probably didn't care.
Yeah, no, fishing regulations were nothing.
Okay, so A Bay of Blood goes by at least 6 different names. A Bay of Blood, Ecology of Crime, Chain Reaction, Carnage, Bloodbath, and Twitch of the Death Nerve. Twitch of the Death Nerve is the name I think it was released under.
That's a great band name.
Twitch of the Death Nerve, yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
It was directed by Mario Bava, famed horror director. He worked with Christopher Lee, which will come up later, and, a bunch of different... He just did a bunch of different giallo and also horror movies, like Black Sabbath. I think he did Black Sunday also. Let's see, Blood and Black Lace, a lot of black in there.
He was feeling really goth. He was feeling himself.
He was feeling real goth. So it was written by Bava, Giuseppe Zaccariello, and Filippo Antoni. I should have written them phonetically.
That's names.
Yeah. It is regarded as Bava's most violent film. And like I said before, it's also a giallo film, which after getting into the history of Grindhouse, I cannot get into the history of giallo. We'll do that when we do Suspiria at some point. It's also a proto-slasher, which is a subgenre I also cannot get into right now. But if you end up like remembering anything from this movie, I will point it out later. It is often recreated in different slasher movies. Like this one death scene was often like recreated in different slasher movies in the 80s. The film was originally going to be written by Bava and Durando. Oh my god. These Italian names. But
we should have gotten Al in just to like insert. We could still get Al to just like insert Italian name here.
Yeah. Stay in one place.
Seeking out our one Italian to say Italian names. Wait, Marcello is part Italian. I don't think Marcello speaks Italian.
No, I don't. He doesn't. I'm just gonna say it one more time and see if I can dub it over. Dardano Sacchetti. That's good enough.
Do you want me to look it up and try it?
No, it's fine.
All right.
So after Sacchetti wrote Cat o' Nine Tails, 1971 director Dario Argento. So he was basically picked out by the then producer to do this new Bava film. And so while Sacchetti and Bava got along great, Sacchetti's writing partner, Franco Barberi. Fuck me. I can't pronounce
this guy.
This guy, Franco, had a, quote, spectacular argument which led to Barberi being fired and Sacchetti quit in solidarity with him. And the producer of this film, Dino De Laurentiis, also left the film after Cat o' Nine Tails didn't do as well internationally as it did domestically. Bava brought on Giuseppe Zaccarello, who produced two other of his movies, and he insisted on Filippo Antoni. I think I wrote be a producer, but I think I meant be a writer, despite Antoni being not liking the genre, so he didn't like horror films.
Well, this is quite a direction to go if you don't like horror films.
Yeah. So the movie had to be done like quick, fast, and in a hurry, as well as cheaply. Bava was his own cinematographer, if you notice that in the credits, and the tracking shots were actually done with a toy wagon. So he just like dragged the the camera on like a Charles wagon.
I actually had a point where it was in one of the opening shots after they have like the water ripple scenes. It was like a dragged shot over the lake where I was thinking of my own film class in high school. I took a couple film classes. This was like we were filming film class. And we were talking about like how tracking shots are done and like the mechanics of it and different like stabilizers and different equipment. And that shot, as it was like tracking over the lake, I was like, that's a bumpy track. Good to know it was on a toy. I'm now impressed by the bumpy shot.
They shot on location at the producer's beach house in central Italy. And yeah. And believe it or not, there was barely a forest around the beach house, and Baba had to put branches in front of the camera to simulate more foliage.
Was it at a lake?
Yeah, it was at a lake.
It looked like it was a lake.
Yeah.
I kept being like, I know it's a bay, and realistically, like, there would be land surrounding it, but it looks like when you're at a lake.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just like a lake. It said beach house when I was doing research, but I'm just like, where's the beach?
Yeah, like I'm trying to think if I've ever like talked to somebody who had like a lakefront house that called it like a beach house, and I feel like I've heard people say that in the way in which they mean like I have a pebble beach.
Yeah, it's a type of beach. You know, despite the constraints, Baba took the time to shoot in both Italian and English. So like he would have doubled the amount of filming time.
Yeah, and just the actors would have to do all their lines like double
again.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. This girl, sorry, she's like going crazy now.
Fairy ambiance.
Going crazy style. This is sad. A sad moment in the film history. Upon its release, the film was panned by critics. And even aforementioned Christopher Lee, who is starring in one of Baba's previous films, he hated it.
Oh.
So, however, as time went on, and as it was re-examined, A Bay of Blood racked about an 80% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 62% audience score, as well as a 3.4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. It's also, like I said before, it's a proto-slasher, so it is absolutely, like, one of the first in the genre to ever do it. So it kickstarted that genre, or subgenre rather, and it really was like, it was like a major impact on like the horror genre as a whole because of it.
My thoughts there, it kind of goes to like how a lot of the time when art movements or like new styles within art are introduced, usually the first people who do it are not going to be like the peak of the art, but they're gonna be so well recognized as the people starting it. Like it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be new.
Yeah, so I think that's really cool that
he went, let's kill everyone.
And like I think one of the taglines for the film was 13 characters, 13 deaths, and that is true. Unlike 13 Ghosts, which had like 15 ghosts.
Who had 15 ghosts of like varying degrees of personhood.
The wheel.
Okay,
are you ready to get into it?
Even before we start, this is the one where I wrote like the opening very specifically where like you have the fly or like the bug land in the water and splashes. I thought the killer clown shark shot.
Look, I forgot what it was called. I know what you're talking about, but I forgot
the
what
Mark
the actual
Polonia
movie.
film. I don't remember what it was called. It was like Camp Blood Clown Shark, I think.
Yeah, it was Camp Blood Clown Shark. Whenever you say Killer Clown Shark, I think you're about to say Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and I'm just like, oh my god, Killer Clowns.
Killer Clowns.
I love Killer Clowns.
It's much worse.
Yeah. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is a banger. Like...
Maybe we should eventually do that. We could do like a clown month.
Oh my god, clown month. We have to review. Oh my god, we could we could review all the It movies and then Killer Clowns.
And then Killer Clowns, yes. yes.
No. Yeah, because I'm not watching Terrifier again. That's another Killer Clown movie. I'm not watching it. I'm not doing it again.
I'm trying to think if there's any like other clown ones that come to mind, and unless we find like a really shitty one that was done in response to like the 2016 clown thing. I don't.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Oh, there's definitely some out there that we could find.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's this one called like Killjoy or something, and it was made in the 90s, I think, and it's like this clown in like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm about to say this, in the quote unquote hood. It's just in like in a black neighborhood.
Yeah.
That like he's summoned by this boy who like wants to get the attention of a girl. He starts killing, clown starts killing everyone. I'm pretty sure that's the plot of it.
Yeah, I guess like lonely teenage boy triggers clown apocalypse is pretty good.
Clown apocalypse.
That's another, first of all, good band name and good movie name.
Yeah, you have to be like juggalos, or not juggalos, but like
ICP adjacent
to be in. Yeah.
Yeah, you all have to be an outfit.
Yeah. One of them may be a mime or something.
Where's your uniforms? And the mime is silent.
Yeah. He's like miming an instrument.
Yes.
Or maybe he's a dancer.
Yeah. No, he's stuck in the box. Okay. Anyway, sorry, go on.
No, you're good. The movie opens on a stormy night. An old woman in a wheelchair makes her way through a house, and it is a relatively peaceful scene until her brutal murder, where she is put in a noose and knocked out of her wheelchair.
I do have a note here. This is arguably, like, I immediately was like, this is clearly because they don't have the budget for it otherwise. But I was like, it's a hospital chair. Like, the type of wheelchair is a hospital wheelchair. And they do reference her, like, just, like, genuinely being disabled later. Like, it wasn't implied that it was just, like a temporary chair she was supposed to be in. Which I think is a little funny, because I was like, that's just, like, the basic chair at the hospital. They put her in. But, like, I was also, like, a normal chair that a disabled person would use is going to be hundreds of dollars.
Maybe it would only be like $100 in 1971.
Yeah, it'd probably be like a loaf of bread.
Trading it, bartering it.
I got my chair for 7 pennies.
Things used to be cheaper.
We're in a worse time.
Everything sucks. Anyway, she struggles and ultimately dies, and we actually like see her assailant, and it's a old man. The man hears a noise coming from outside, and he checks it, and it's just like a rattling gate. But as he comes back inside, he puts a note down, framing her murder as a suicide. And then he is stabbed in the back and dies. And we don't see that assailant. That'd be so funny if we did.
I thought he was stabbing himself a few times.
No, he was stabbed in the back by someone else.
That makes more sense. I misunderstood that scene. So what I thought was happening, I was a little confused. I thought he was trying to make it seem like he survived an attack as well, but like someone else came to finish him off.
Oh, okay.
Either way, I was like, no. He's dead. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, someone else stabs him in the back. It's like, the knife is like kind of small.
Yes, it is.
It's like weirdly small.
That's why I thought that he faked it in part. I was like, oh, he just grabbed like a letter opener. Yeah. It makes more sense for someone else to stab him.
Yeah, and like the guy later, Paolo or Paul, because in this movie everyone has two different names, like an anglicized name and an Italian name. Mm. So Paolo/Paul, he had like a throwaway line about having a penknife, and that's why I was like, is that supposed to be like a red herring? Because like Paul obviously like didn't do it.
There's a couple of parts where it's red herrings of Paolo, like, not being the killer, but, like, kind of being led to believe that it's the killer to the audience. And then I think it's worth saying, most of my notes for the next scene are straight up about the squonk.
Yeah!
Which doesn't matter in the rest of the film. It's just the nickname for his mistress.
This fucking squonk.
And it's all about, like, it's the guy really explaining the squonk in deep detail, and then he leaves.
Yeah, he knows the lore. He's like a cryptid fan.
And that's it. It doesn't matter for the rest of it. It's just part of his personality. I wrote it down, too. I had the thought where I was like, this could be important for later, and I'm, like, writing down all the squonk details. I wrote squonk parentheses noun. Short for squonk is Noctnorum. Oh my god. Noctnorum, I think. Yeah. Yeah. It dissolves into a puddle of tears.
Yeah.
That was
It's also a... I'll get to it when I get to it. I just need to get through the scene real quick. Mm-hmm. So we cut to two people in bed, Frank/Franco Ventura, and his secretary, who he's having an affair with. She doesn't want him to leave, and he, in a very complicated way, by calling her a squonk, calls her clingy. And a squonk is a Pennsylvanian cryptid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania pride.
Yeah.
I think it's actually one of our only ones that are, like, unique. We theoretically have Bigfoot squawk. We technically have
Sasquatch.
Yeah, we technically have Sasquatch sightings. Question mark. I've actually heard of the squonk before, but as like a Pennsylvania, like kind of people mocking it and being like, "That's such a shitty little cryptid." That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
How did it get to Italy?
It's not like. I don't know. I was thinking that too. Like, how did he know?
It was such an odd scene that, like, I kind of thought it was... I thought he was going to show up. I thought the squonk was going to come out.
But he thought the squonk was going to be there.
I was like, oh my god, it's going to have been the squonk all along.
He had the knife.
Maybe it was the squonk between us the whole time. Oh, I also had a note on this scene where I was just like, man is an architect, because there are house plans everywhere.
Yeah, I had to look up what he did, and he is a real estate agent, I think. Yeah.
I have a note here which says architect detective ? Which gets explained later, but I was like, why is he an architect doing, like, personal investigator work?
No, he's a real estate agent, which is kind of weird for what his role is later.
Yes.
But so Ventura gets up and says he's going to the Bay, the titular Bay of Blood. Mm-hmm. It's not called the Bay of Blood, it's just called the Bay. He's a real estate agent looking to seize the property of that the Countess Frederica died on. He also mentions that Count Filippo Danti, her husband, also disappeared, and the Count and Countess are the ones who died in the opening scene.
I didn't get her name for like a while. I think I missed it at first.
Yeah, they say it like a bunch of times.
I missed it until like the scene in which ahead with the daughter-in-law.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't until then that I was like, oh, that's the old lady's name.
Hard cut to a man eating a squid in a rowboat. We learn that his name is Simon/Simone. Simon, we'll just call him Simon, I guess. And a ways away, we see someone staring at him through the trees with binoculars. Which, oh my god, I'll get to it. Hold on. The person spots another man running through the brush, and the binoculars are taken away from him by the Watcher's wife. And these two will be important later, and I didn't notice, like, my first viewing that those were the people who came in later. I was just like, oh, two random people. And, like, even after the film was done, I was like, oh, okay, two random people.
I only noticed because the wife was hot.
Yeah, the wife's pretty hot.
And I like, when she came back again, like, a little while later, which they are pivotal in the rest of the film when they come back. When they came back later, I was like, oh, it's the wife who's hot. I do want to add in this scene, Simon and Paolo, which is Mr. Fasati for, like, most of it. That's usually, like, they flip back and forth between calling him, like, Mr. Fasati and, like, Paul or Paolo. I wrote that they should kiss.
They should kiss.
They have, like, crazy tension for seemingly no reason, they are not at odds with each other. In fact, Mr. Fasadi later is like, I think he's a good man. I think he's like blunt, but I think he's a good man. I was like, why didn't we get them having nasty gay sex as an affair? We could have had it all.
It's like for some reason it's like Interview with a Vampire like level gay sex.
Yes, yeah. Also, Mr. Fasadi's wife hates him, so like they should have been fucking nasty.
Okay. So the man running through the trees, like we said, is Paul/Paolo. He's an entomologist, and he's trying to catch a bug. Simon and Paul have a tense conversation about the nature of killing living things, and Paul brings up the Countess's murder. Simon, however, for some reason that I still don't understand, insists that it was a suicide.
I think well, we can cut out this part as a spoiler, I guess. I assumed that it was because he understood on some level that it was a murder. Like, he was maybe like confused as to why his mom would kill herself, but was like, no, it's what the police said and we just have to stick to that story.
Okay.
I figured he knew things and was like somewhat involved, but I didn't think at first. I was like, obviously he didn't kill her, but like someone killed the other person in the room, and at that point I was like, aggressive man. He probably knows that the other guy killed her at that point.
I feel like I was saying something before about the scene that I don't remember.
Was it still this scene where they're going back and forth in the binoculars?
Yeah.
Okay. He's Fasadi's an entomologist. He studies colopetras, which are beetles. That is his field of study, even though when you go into his bug room later, there's butterflies everywhere. He's working on beetles, and the beetles are his specialty.
That's cool.
I don't remember much else from the scene than being like, oh, he's into bugs. I wonder what bug.
So, we cut to Frank, and he's calling his superior. I don't know who he says like, Your Honor. So I'm like, is it a judge? But like, was there a judge?
I figured it was a judge specifically because you need to get like land rights signed over by like. Like a high power attorney judge level kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I assumed the judge was already in on it because they already had the plan to get the property.
So yeah, Frank calls his superior and says that the property and the rest of the bay is basically like in the bag, and they can start demolition on the bay soon. Also, I wanted to mention here that this movie is like full of match cuts, which is so. I like match cuts because I think they're fun and I think they're cool to see. But match cuts are basically like when you matching like the movement or like the physical object of a scene before, like not a scene before, but a scene at the end of the scene, and then at the beginning of the next scene, you match it to be like that exact same thing. So like in this movie, in this scene specifically, when he puts down the phone, you can also, in the next scene, like the direct next scene is like the gas station attendant like pulling down the lever or whatever.
Where it's like physical motion moves into another physical motion smoothly.
Yeah. And yeah, it's always fun. There's
I also wrote a note with the gas station. They said the gas was less than $5.
Oh my god!
And I did write just all caps, less than $5 of gas.
Less than $5 a gallon. I don't know. I don't know. Actually,
it seemed like that's what he was topping it off with, and I was like,
"Oh, okay." I was thinking, like, because this must have been around when the gas crisis was. It's either that or like in the late 70s.
I think that was later 70s.
Okay, so they were still riding high now in 71. Also, the gas crisis happened in America specifically.
Yeah, I don't know how much Italy was impacted.
Because I know if we ever do Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I might end up talking about the gas crisis a little bit, just because
there's cars in that
relevant.
movie. Yeah,
there are, and like the economic like standing of the Sawyer family, which is like the cannibal family, would have to do with like the gas prices and stuff. I'm not going to get into it. It's fine. Now we are with 4 college ? Students. I think they're in college. I don't know why they wouldn't be.
I just wrote young adults.
Young adults. So they're driving around the bay like crazy style, and like it's 2 girls and 2 boys, and like they soon get out of the car. Their names are Roberto, Brunhilde, Duke, and Denise.
I missed the last girl's name. I just wrote
Yeah,
French
so did
girl
I.
a lot.
Yeah,
Because
I had to like. They said her name once.
Oh,
like absolutely once, and she's not even on the IMDb.
That makes
like her
sense.
name is like different on the IMDb.
I have a couple notes about first of all the panty shots at first of the German girl Hilda, and I had a lot of notes that pretty much culminated in me thinking like, I bet she was banging the director. Like, there's so many sexualized, like overly sexualized shots of her, even like, spoiler alert, I guess, her corpse, like as she's dying, she's making like an orgasmic expression that like nobody else makes in the movie. And of course, like, you have extended nude shots of just her, and I was like, I'm very it seems like the director is obsessed with her in a way that is like above and beyond even the other woman in these shots.
I can see that. I would actually, like, I was thinking, like, it wasn't, I guess I watch a lot of horror movies and a lot of, like, early horror movies, and, like, this comparatively wasn't that sexual.
That's very fair. I think my mind only went to it because I was like, I think I mainly got that impression because I was like, there's a whole nother woman who's barely named who's in the shots as well, and meanwhile this one German woman is given her name multiple times and she's like 90% of those shots.
Yeah. Also, they call her like a Viking.
Yeah,
at some point
they say like it's with her swimming, and they're like, oh, she's used to like Viking swimming or some shit.
Yeah, and I'm like, am I just like dumb or are they dumb?
Yeah, I did have a moment where I was like, I don't consider the Germans Vikings.
I don't either.
But maybe someone here does.
Maybe the Europeans know more about I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we're off. Although the other guy was called Duke a bunch, and I wasn't sure if that was his name or like something he was calling himself.
No, I think his name is Duke. It was listed in the IMDb, so that's the only way he's referred to as.
Okay, chill. I was like, I don't think he's the Duke of anything. He doesn't have a house.
No. No. So they get out of the car. Roberto, or Bobby, as he's called, goes with Brunhilde to the water, and Duke and Denise go to an abandoned house and like near the water and like dance around.
And they talk about how that house was a club at that point, because they say something about there being a music system, but it really doesn't look like it.
No, it doesn't. And like they say later, like
that it was a club.
That it was a nightclub.
Which I have notes on at the end of the movie, but we will get to that. And then it cuts very quickly to the tarot.
Yeah, now we're with Anna, who is Paul's wife, and she's a mystic / fortune teller. I think she's just referred to as a fortune teller in the movie.
She's kind of just reading tarot cards. Like, that's all she really does. She does it, like, with deep intent, but... Mm-hmm. What was your take?
No, I was gonna say, I think she's kind of neat.
I thought she was kind of neat. I also thought I was like, damn, why do you hate your bug-loving husband so much?
That's fair.
But I was like, no, like the aesthetic that they're giving her is really neat. Oh, and during that scene, like during that back and forth, it's kind of like otherwise like a mild scene. She predicts that there's going to be death, but they make it really clear, like for the first time here, beyond the architect detective thing, that he is like, no, he wants to take over the bay.
Yeah, he wants to like demolish it and, like they said, like turn it into a concrete ocean or whatever.
Yeah, they're pretty much like, he wants to destroy the natural beauty.
So after that, back to the teens, we see someone staring at them through the thatched walls, which is like another like slasher thing, like the stalking slasher, and that happens like throughout this movie.
Which I kind of went back and forth with, of being like the whodunit, like guessing whodunit at the beginning, because they don't immediately reveal like who this slasher is for this cluster of 4. And I had a moment where I was like, well, the hair is a certain length, and other people's hair is not somewhat of a certain length. And then I realized later, I was like, I don't think that consistency matters.
No.
No, it didn't matter.
Think it, but I think it was Simon that was doing it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the main thing I was looking between was him and Paul. And I was like, no, Paul's hair is definitely shorter in those parts, so it wouldn't make sense even though they keep alluding to him.
So Brunhilde goes to the bay to swim, and Denise brings along Roberto and Duke to a locked house that they find, and they decide to break into it.
And when they get in, it is very clearly the architect's house.
Yeah, I didn't I didn't notice that until like she literally, like Denise like literally found
the pictures of him,
the framed photo,
which is,
it was like a framed photo of like his headshot.
Yeah, why do you have a framed photo of yourself in your house?
I have no clue. It was so funny.
I only noticed because he also had stands of like the architectural plans, like floor plans somewhere.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, okay, it's the same guy. But like otherwise, well, maybe I kind of guessed too, because the taste in art there was the same as the apartment. Again, where I thought they blew all their budget.
That's so fair.
I also wrote
it might be
a comment about her swimming where I was like, boobs, parentheses, and ass, I guess.
Tits and ass.
Tits and ass, I guess. And then note later where I was like, I was admittedly kind of distracted by boob. They got me.
You know, you're just a regular guy.
I'm just a regular guy, and how can I help it when they're showing me boob? Am I not supposed to look at boob? But it is important that she's in the water because her ankle gets stuck like around a rope that's underwater, and like she drags a corpse out from the depths.
Yeah, and it's the body of the Count. So he's wearing the same thing he was the night he was murdered. So she rushes out of the water, and she tries to get to her friends, and she goes into the abandoned house at first thinking that they're there. And then when they're not, we start to follow the person that's chasing her. So it's like a POV shot. So basically like we're chasing her through the woods, or the forest. Woods. We see a machete come into, like as she gets to Ventura's house, we see a machete come into the frame, and it hacks at her throat. She's killed just outside of Ventura's cabin.
And the shot is like the hooked end is what slashes her. Oh yeah, the friends are still in the cabin.
And it's like late into the night now.
And what the pair, that Duke and the French one, who's only named very briefly, are going to bang in the bed. And Bobby's just kind of left out, and I have it listed that he's the second victim. That happens fairly quickly after Hilda is killed.
I thought his death was interesting, at least like looks wise. So like the killer knocks over a pot, and Bobby goes out to investigate, but as soon as he opens the door, he gets a machete to the face. And I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah, like that was the shot that I was like, oh, they blew their whole budget for the special effects of the face slash.
As like most giallos are, like the blood is like bright red. It's like a stylistic thing.
It's very graphic, but like in a way in which it's like an art form graphic. Yeah, I very much noticed that. And there's not a ton of the deaths that are in this that have that like graphic art form. There's one other that I can think of immediately that's later on, but like his is very designed.
It's very like physical, like tactile. And like soon after that, like Denise and Duke get a spear through both of them as they're having sex. And this is the scene where I was saying that it's like often like repeated, like mimicked or referenced, I guess, in other horror films.
I've definitely seen that kind of thing referenced, where it's like stabbed in like impaling two lovers together. Yeah, so it's referenced in The Burning and Friday the 13th, but I don't remember if it's part 1 or part 2. I think it's part 2, part 1. I don't know. It's there. It's one of them. And that
those two were made in 1981 specifically, and there was like one other made in 1981 that was like that also referenced it, and there was also references. It's just been referenced like a bunch of times.
It's like a classic shot now.
So now we're with Anna again, and she's doing tarot, and she goes to tell Paul something, but he is gone. And she goes outside, she doesn't find him, but the car that the teens were driving like drives away from, I guess, their house.
And there is a shot at the Fasadi's house where his bug, or like one of his bugs, is stabbed through with one of the needles, and it's like still alive and dying slowly. And I do think there's like an element of the foreshadowing from before of him and Simon's kind of like back and forth, where Simon's like, oh, once you kill, you kind of get into a cycle of killing. Like, once you kill, you're a killer, and it's stuck with you. And it's kind of like, I got the feeling that it was supposed to be another red herring of like, he's killed already and he's continuously killing, and the bug is included. It is a red herring, though. He doesn't kill people, and it was a mistake from my understanding.
No, we finally meet Renata and Alberto/Albert. They're a married couple, and they're staying in a camper with their 2 kids. They don't like each other right now, at least. And it's late at night, and the kids are supposed to be asleep, but they're not. Roberto and Renata sneak off in their car.
Yeah, and she is the Countess's husband at the beginning, Donati's daughter, but the Countess is her stepmother.
Yes.
Yes, that's part of the whole back and forth of this whole inheritance thing.
So they pull up to Paul's place for information on Ventura. Or no, wait. We learned that Renata, this is the Countess' daughter.
Yeah, she's making a point to be like, I'm looking for the disappearance of my father. She doesn't seem to give a fuck about Federica's death. She's very much in the camp of like, she can die for all that it matters.
So it is revealed to us that the Count wanted to make the Bay a resort. It also comes out that Simon is the Countess's son from an affair.
And now they make like a point of being like, he's illegitimate, and they're like, he's straight up like she kept him in a cabin, like he's kind of like, he was kept away from society, I think they say, until he was 15.
Yeah.
Which is something I kind of make a comment on, like, as my questions at the end. But yeah, it is implied that he is, like, quote unquote a freak.
I mean, I would be too.
Yeah, if I was hidden away by my super rich mom until I was 15, and then put into what we later see is like a shitty little dock house with like bare bones nothing that he had to build himself, I think he should have been killing more people.
Yeah.
Like that's my outcome there. Yeah, kill more, kid. He's old.
Yeah, he's like, I got the read that he was supposed to be like in his like mid-20s.
He what?
But he looked, I think so, but he looked like much older than that.
I thought he was like 50s.
No, definitely not 50s.
I thought he was graying.
No, I'm not saying the actor wasn't.
No. Oh yeah. The interpretation was like, clearly he was born before Donati and her were in a relationship, but we don't know how long that's been, because obviously she's like the last wife.
I thought it was like oh no, I guess that is what happened, because I thought it was. No, yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. Renata wants to speak to Simon and Ventura, but they go to Ventura's. Wait, no. They go.
Yeah, she wants the inheritance, and then they want to speak to him, and the Fasadis are like, oh, Simon should just be down the docks, like it's a quick walk through the woods, like you can get to him pretty quickly.
During the walk, Renata and Alberto talk about their plan to get the inheritance, and they pass Simon's cabin, but they don't notice Ventura coming out of it. Mm-hmm. They start to talk to Simon about, the last time he saw the Count, and he says he hasn't seen him, like he insists upon this. But Renata sees something like moving under like the tarp in the boat, and she pulls it back, and it's her father's waterlogged body, and there's a octopus on it.
Yeah, there's a live octopus seemingly eating it.
Yeah, I don't know. Do octopi eat?
Yeah, they have very sharp beaks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's, if I remember, no, is it octopus? I thought maybe it's squid that have sharp beaks. Octopi have like a little hole. They have like kind of razors on their sticky pads, and they kind of like
Oh,
hold down the food that way.
interesting.
Yeah, they. I thought they usually. I can't remember if octopi just take like a chunk out or if they eat things whole though. It's
Mm.
definitely something, but they do eat.
Okay.
And Simon does say, he's like, "Oh, I just found him at sea."
He's like, yeah.
He's like, yeah, he's like, "Oops," as in like, "Ah, yeah, I was lying to you, but like, I promise, I just found him."
So Simon ends up pointing them to Ventura's, like, cabin.
Mm-hmm.
They come in to Ventura's cabin and no one is there.
Oh,
Well, we see him like in the basement or whatever, like putting down a rope and like there's a hatchet rather.
yeah, we get
So.
a shot in between of Ventura on the phone with his affair partner,
Oh yeah, yeah.
where he's like, he says something like, there's been like a bump in the plans, but like everything is fine." And it is notable that he's in his house being like, everything's cleaned up, everything's fine, but we know that there are 3 bodies in the house and there was a body in the yard,
Mm-hmm.
which is curious. I hang on, I have a point later in like when they come into the house, when I think they call her Reddy as like a nickname.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, the husband does. The husband calls her Reddy briefly. What was it? What was her full name?
Renata.
Renata. There it is. Yeah, Renata. When Renata's like looking in the house and it's empty after she's like, there's that brief shot of him with the axe, she opens the door to the room where they were stabbed in bed. The 2 young adults were stabbed in bed. And I have a moment where I'm like, why did you just like clean the sheets and put them back on? It's not different sheets, it's the same sheets. And I was like, did he do the laundry?
Maybe they have multiples.
Maybe, yeah, maybe he's that kind of rich person who bought like 600 of them and just rotates them. And then Mr. Ventura comes out to fight her.
Yeah, like she goes into the bathroom and then she sees
Mm-hmm.
the she turns on the light and then she sees like the 4 teens like in the bathtub,
Mm-hmm.
dead. Not they're not like taking a bath. They are dead.
Yeah, the corpses.
And then like Ventura is in the doorway like holding a hatchet and then but she closes the door. She gets a pair of scissors and like stabs him in the leg like through the glass. Like she breaks the glass and stabs him in the leg.
And that whole time he was wrestling with the door. It's like a good
Yeah.
like couple seconds, and I kept being like, "You have an axe. It is a glass door."
Yeah.
I was like that. I literally wrote, "Daughter realizes, stabs him through the door. Hashtag feminism."
Hashtag feminist.
Hashtag feminist. She's
Hashtag girl
smarter than
boss.
him.
She's such a girl boss.
She is a girl boss. That is her characteristic. And then we get a shot like right after that. We have Mrs. Fasati, Anna, going to the bay and like seeing Simon's boat, and there is, first of all, no one at the boat, and there is nothing in the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of get a shot of like oh no, we get the daughter, Renetta, meeting up with, what was it,
Albert, yeah.
meeting up with Albert, her husband. I have it like listed as like daughter and her husband for most of this. We have Renetta meeting up with Albert. And she's like, yeah, Mr. Ventura's like out. It was so like, I'll explain it later. It's too complicated. Um, and they go to separate ways. And Albert, goes to the Fasadi house. Sorry, I get like really scribbly here. Did you notice that there was a bong?
There was a bong?
Okay, so I stopped and took a picture of the screen because I got like, and because I was like writing it so scribbly and being like, hang on, there's a bong, I need to stop everything I'm doing. This is in the shot right before Vasati goes. Oh my god, it's the shot where Vasati's trying to find the phone number for the police in the house, and he's like flipping through the book and he's like rummaging around, and it's like an overview shot of like a table spread, and there is very clearly a bong right there, and then the husband kills him, like he strangles him, but it is in the shots like before that, like the whole room shots. It is, I will send it to you right now because I felt so I'm strongly feeling about the bong.
Oh my god, there's a bong.
I was like, there's even a mouthpiece, like that is a bong.
Yeah, it's like a beaker shaped glass bong with like a little,
it even has a down stem.
Yeah.
Anyway, not important to anything else in the film. Bong spotted.
Bong spotted.
Anyway, back to the slasher.
So yeah, Alberto kills Paolo. Or, yeah. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, Renata goes after Anna.
And this is the scene where I was like, this is the only other one that I'd say is like artistically inspired, because she ends up decapitating.
Oh, before this. Wait, hold on. Before this, like in the middle of these two scenes, we meet. Wait, do we?
The GF,
yes,
the girlfriend of Ventura,
the wife, his wife.
His wife.
I think that was his wife.
It was the woman from the beginning.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
No, it was his wife.
Oh, I thought they looked the same.
I think. They do look the
same. They're two blonde white women, and I really could not tell them apart. I assumed they were the same woman. That's on me, though.
I'm pretty sure that's his wife. Her name's Laura, which they didn't say at all.
Okay. Then, yeah, I guess I call her GF for the rest of it, but okay, so Laura, the wife. That is after these scenes. After she's decapitated, at least in the sequence in which I'm writing.
Okay.
Because I have the decapitation scene, and then I have two back-to-back notes where it's the adult daughter of Desati's, that she is hot in a fucked up evil woman way, and then the next note says the real killer was capitalistic greed. And then the wife comes.
But yeah, Anna, wherever it is in the movie, Anna sees Ventura's body, and like she gets like really, really close to it, and then Renata chops off her head with the hatchet, which is so funny because you can't. I mean, it's like a really,
that takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, it does, and you can't do that with like just a hatchet.
I'll also say like a good like almost half of the, not half, but like at least 3 people are strangled to death in this movie. Being strangled to death takes like
it takes
3
forever.
or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And it only shows it for a couple seconds, and I know most films do this. This is a classic thing that happens. But like, I kept being like, you're walking away too quickly. They're not dead yet, but they're dead. Like, it is implied in the movie that was enough to kill them. But no, the decapitation, like, she takes a good swing and it's clean. I will say that shot was probably one of my favorite shots in the film. Gorgeous decapitation shot.
Yeah, it was really good.
I know that, like, out of context, that is such a statement. That was such a lovely decapitation.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's a horror movie.
Renata runs into Alberto and says that they have to kill Simon.
Mm-hmm.
Ventura's wife drives to the cabin, and she sees that her husband is not dead and just injured, and tells her to bring Simon to him.
Mm-hmm.
She runs to the cabin, and I feel so mean saying this, but when she was like calling Simon's name, she kind of sounded like Edwin.
Edwin?
Do you know who Edwin, like the actor who did the Mad Hatter in the animated Alice in Wonderland movie?
I have not seen that, no.
Oh, okay. So my reference is lost on.
That's okay. I will wholeheartedly believe whatever you say.
Okay. I felt so bad because I was like, she kind of has like a little bit of a lisp, and I'm like, but just in that scene.
They got her in a bad shot.
Yeah.
They were filming this back to back, multiple different languages. I bet at that point they just
So
gave
true.
up. And this shot sequence is like inside his shitty little shack home, and this is when I was like, oh, his mom hated him.
And like he says later that he doesn't have any money, so like he didn't see any of that money.
Yeah, and he was eating raw octopi.
Yeah.
Fresh alive and out of the ocean. If his mom is a countess, she fucking hated him.
Exactly. So Simon comes in. So like she runs into the cabin. Simon comes in and locks the door behind him, and then confronts her about the involvement, her involvement rather, in his mother's murder. Mm-hmm. And okay, let me just say, like, all of this, like, from now until the end of the movie happens in like less than 10 minutes.
Yes, this is a very quick succession, and I have like a page and a half for the next 10 minutes.
So do I. Have like half a page, and it's like, why does so much happen in less than 10 minutes? And how did he do that? How did Baba do that?
This happens so often sometimes with films where I'm like, it's almost over and I don't know what the fuck's going on, and then it's like that 10 minutes later and it's like, well, sure, I guess.
Yeah. Like, usually this is like the cool down portion of like a movie.
Yeah, you have like an end couple of shots where it's like finishing up, but no, like we're about to hit like peak.
Yeah. Literally.
And part of this, like, as he's rambling at Ventura's wife about like trying to get a confession, he confesses in that to killing Donati.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's like, it's like in his like rambling that he says like, I had to kill him after yada yada, like, is it your fault that she is dead?
Mm-hmm. So we learn via flashback that the Countess wouldn't sell the bait to Ventura, and Laura, the wife, and Ventura devise a plan to seduce the Count into killing his wife and then framing it as a suicide.
And it's notable that during that meeting that they had with Federica, the wife, Laura, steals Federica's diary.
Yes.
Because that's how they managed to get the note that was present at the beginning. It was actually from her previous diaries where she's like, this marriage is so bad, my life sucks, I'd better off be dead. Mm-hmm. And they just rip it out of that. Like, that's that end piece. I also have the note finally here that I was like, is this movie set in Italy?
It took you so long.
I finally got it here. I was like, hang on a second, guys. I don't, like, for a while, I was like, some people have accents and some people don't. I wonder where they are. Well, we got it. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got it. Oh, I also note down where Ventura calls Federica, quote-unquote, an old cripple.
Oh my god. I didn't notice that.
I went, boo!
I mean, he dies anyway.
He dies, yeah, it's fine. Everyone dies. Don't worry if you hate someone, they're gonna die.
Exactly. And I thought, okay, never mind. I'll get to it when I get to it.
Mm-hmm.
She denies it, and Simon tries to kill her with his machete. Mm-hmm. But she throws a pot of boiling water at him. But she doesn't get away. She doesn't get out of the cabin. She gets strangled by Simon, and like it's only a couple seconds, but he's successful.
Mm-hmm. And then Simon, after that, just kind of runs back to that abandoned nightclub. Yeah,
and then he goes to Ventura after that. So that nightclub scene was like kind of like needless. Nothing really happens there.
I thought he died there.
No, that was later.
Oh, I could have sworn the backdrop was the same as the club, but like realistically,
no,
I kind of lost track.
No, he goes there once and then goes to Ventura's and then goes back there.
Okay. I thought that shot of him with Ventura was a flashback to like earlier in that middle scene where the stepdaughter / daughter of the husband and her husband and the other couple were at oh my god, I'm blanking on their last name again.
Fasadi.
Yeah, the Fasadi house. I thought that was a flashback to then Simon and Ventura being at Ventura's house at that same time.
No, he goes to Simon goes to the abandoned club, and then he goes to Ventura's. Ventura tells Simon to dump the bodies in the bay later, and Simon has to for Simon to disappear for a while. Ventura says like, and then this is where Simon says like he doesn't have any money, and Ventura says that if he signs over the bay to him, then he can get, and if he can get the Countess's will too, then he can get him money for plane tickets and a passport. Like, this man didn't even have a passport. That's fucked up.
Yeah, no, he barely existed.
Yeah.
Legally, he did not exist.
So back at the abandoned club, this is where Simon dies. He gets stabbed in the torso with a spear by Alberto.
Yeah, I wrote lovely shot of Simon impaled to death in the abandoned club.
Yeah, that was very dramatic.
It was very dramatic, and it was kind of like a nice shot. It was like it panned out, and I was like, oh, it's kind of like a painting.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to the stepdaughter.
Yeah, Roberto and Renata fish the Count's body out of the bay and then go back to look for the will. As soon as oh my god, I keep saying Simon. As soon as Roberto finds it, Renata yells for him to
Roberta.
look out.
It's Al. I thought it was Albert.
Yeah, no. Did I say Roberto?
Yeah, you kept saying Roberta.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, lesbian win.
Oh my god.
You're making them women in your mind. You're so right.
Exactly. So
yeah.
Albert and Renata, as soon as Albert finds the will, Renata yells for him to look out and then shuts off the lights. I think she's the one who shuts off the lights, right?
I assumed it was Ventura, like, trying to get the upper hand by having the darkness in his own house, but, like, I had no idea. I was confused in this last 10 minutes, to say the least.
That's so fair. Ventura's in the home, and he's trying to kill them. So basically, it's like a struggle between Albert and Ventura, and
Albert wins.
Or no. Yeah, Albert wins, but we don't know that yet.
No.
So basically we just see the knife go down, and then Renata's like shocked face, and she's like, Albert, is that you? And then we suddenly cut to morning. Renata and Albert are joyfully burning the will and talking about how they'll inherit the bay. This last part is so... Yeah, this last part is so funny. So when suddenly the children call for them, and we see the barrel of a gun, and 2 shots ring out, and Renata and Albert fall to the ground, dead.
And the kids...
we see from the camper that the 2 children are standing there laughing about how good their parents are at playing dead. One suggests that they go down to the bay, and we end with them playfully running down to the water.
And that's how it ends.
Yeah.
And I did have a second where I was like, I think they actually shot them.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, I was like, oh, damn, do the kids know they're dead? No?
No, I guess not.
A classic example of, yes, they're dying too. And that's it.
Yeah, I honestly was shocked by the ending because I honestly thought that they were going to get away with it. Like, it happened in the final minute.
Yeah, it's easily like seconds. And then them skipping down to the bay is a good 30 seconds all on its own. It's like an extended shot that is layered a few times.
Yeah, it's
quite a
great.
film. It's quite an ending.
Yeah. So what was your favorite part?
Ooh, what was my favorite part? It might honestly be the decapitation.
That's fair. That's good. That's a good part.
I just think that was like a good shot all on its own. I kind of feel like I kind of like the shots in Simon's shack, like the series of information and how that is like explained feels more natural than like a lot of the rest of the film.
Yeah, I feel like the unnatural feeling of the film also comes from the fact that it's like dubbed for the entire thing.
Yes, yes.
And like the dubbing mostly lines up, but it's like it's like the tiniest bit off, and it's like kind of distracting.
There's a couple scenes where it's like a lot more obvious that it is a dub. Mm-hmm. I think like the most notable one was when Laura and Mr. Venturi are in the room having the meeting with Federica. That scene was really off, especially Federica's like speaking. That was one scene where I was like, hang on. Now hang on here. I don't know.
Hang on now.
What was your favorite?
I really like Simon's death. That was like a really nice scene.
That was a really nice scene.
Out of all the things in this movie, it was like very like quietly dramatic. And like
it felt interesting in the way in which it was like very final, because he was realistically the thrill killer at the beginning, and like to see him die in such a dramatic way felt very like peak of the film. Even though I know like 3 people die after that, that still felt like the peak.
All right. Do you have anything else?
I do have a couple questions.
Okay, yeah.
Of course, one of the questions was why does everyone except Paolo have an accent if Federica and Simon are seemingly from the Bay? Great question. Don't know. Not explained. Doesn't matter. Let's see. Oh, this is like a stupid loose end for me. Why were they trying to take over the real estate of the Bay when they already knew that it failed? Because Donati tried and had a number of these trials fail and are now abandoned.
I don't know. I think it's hubris.
Yeah, that definitely, yeah, it is just kind of like, I'm an entrepreneur, I can do this.
Exactly.
Why not do this? And once again, I was like, my question was like, if his mother loved him so much, why was he in a shack? Mommy didn't love you as much as you thought, Simon.
Exactly.
That was my takeaway. That and capitalism was the real enemy after all. Yay.
Yay. This is one of the many movies that are like, that's like capitalism is the real villain.
Yeah, at the end of the day, capitalism was the real villain. And now we rotate to other films where the horror is more sometimes abstract.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Yeah. All right. We're done with this episode.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Buckets of Blood.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's been fun. So we'll see you some other time, maybe the week after this.
Yep. We'll see you with the next one. This is
with the next one. Yes, exactly. We'll have links in the description of, what we want to link. And I'll link the Tubi
link,
because this is on Tubi. Yeah, the Tubi link, and an archive link if it's on there.
Enjoy.
Yeah, have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.